I think I'm going through a bit of a scarcity effect. Have you ever wanted something that you can have, but when you have access to a lot of it, you lose interest and you no longer value it as much as you did when you didn't have access to it? The scarcity effect is a psychological phenomenon that says that when you see something that is rare, desirable, or expensive, your subconscious mind makes you think about having it more than you would if you saw something that was abundant. In layman's term, people always want things that they cannot have. Generally, when people talk about this, they refer to materialistic objects or abundance of success in life. But I am referring to my life in Germany when I'm here in California, or my life in California when I'm in Germany. This video is exactly about that. If you've been here for a while, you know that I live in two countries, and when I'm away from one home, there are certain things that I miss about the other. Now that I'm back in California, there are certain things that I miss about Germany and the European way of life. I could sit here and give you copious amounts of things that I miss about Europe, like the German bread or the German beer, Italian pizza, how grocery shopping is a completely different experience, or how the prices of eggs here in the USA is significantly higher than in Germany, or how Lago di Como is just a short 5-hour drive where I can go and escape for the weekend at a drop of a hat, etc., etc. But those things are obvious and expected between two different countries, within two different cultures, within two different economies, and two different social infrastructures. The difference I am referring to are the differences which are felt within the heart, and not so much witnessed by the eyes. Here's a conversation which I had recently with a complete stranger while I was hiking this past weekend. Hi, how are you? It's a beautiful day today, isn't it? So are you from around here? Wow, I don't think I've ever met anyone that lives here full time. I just came here for the weekend from Seattle for my mom's birthday. We are here just for the weekend, and then we're gonna head back to Seattle. I manage a restaurant there, so I can't stay here for too long, but we'll be back in probably a couple of months. My dad passed away last year, so I figured I'll come visit mom more often. They were married for 40 years, so it's kind of tough on her right now. This type of conversation happens a lot here in the USA. It's commonly referred to as small talk. Americans look on the bright side, assume that people like us, and believe that everything is either okay or going to be okay. One of the ways we make sure that everyone likes each other is through conversations or inconsequential topics like the weather or someone's private matters which you have no connection with or you have no history with. So in a way it wouldn't matter to you anyways, but at the same time it gives you a quick version of that I am a good person and that you can trust me. When this conversation is reciprocated, a superficial bond is established, and now a comfortable space has been created, which can last for just a few moments while you share this physical space, whether it's at a grocery store or, in my case, on a hike. It can be taken further if both individuals wanted to. As much as this was a friendly conversation, it took me by surprise, and I quickly realized how used to I am now with the European way of addressing strangers. You just don't. The most you would say to a stranger would be a friendly hello, a smile, or just a nod. Instead of being happy, I felt annoyed. I wanted to hike in solitude, and this person uninvitingly was sharing her story. I realized at that point that perhaps I have become more German than I ever knew. Small talk in Germany is nearly non-existent between strangers, and when it does happen, it just feels strange. People respect each other's privacy, they respect each other's space, and I think I prefer that now over small talk. I love you. You are the best. You are my bestie. You're my bro. You're my girl. I miss you. You're like family to me. These words are said a lot here in the USA. And there is very little to support these notions. My friendships in Europe are deeply connected and feel effortless. There's this beautiful existence of mutual longing to see each other and to spend time with each other. We meet for coffee and cake, and we spend hours talking about life. Or we may meet at a beer garden and we sit for hours and again just talking about life. No matter where we are, no matter what we do, no matter what we say, the words "you are my bestie," "you are my best friend," "you are my brother from another mother," or "I love you," or "I miss you," are not mentioned because they are not necessary. And when here in the USA, I hear these wonderful words around me all of the time, from friends, from acquaintances, even from strangers. And slowly their potency has faded away. The context of these words are obviously different in the USA, but since living in Europe, I miss the genuineness of friendships. I miss the feeling of knowing that when a word is spoken, it's said because it's meant from the heart, that it comes from the heart. The other day I was watching news, and after an hour of watching news, I realized that in the extent of this entire hour, I had not been exposed to any news outside of the USA, with the exception of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria and how the USA had sent aid to help with finding survivors. Majority of the news was about mundane things that had no value or had any impact to the lives of the general public. Hot topic of the day was how the CEO at a local hospital was stepping down, so now they had to search for a new qualified CEO. Then there was a list of all of the students that had won the Student of the Month award in a local elementary school, or the traffic light which was out on a street corner in a nearby city. And there was multiple news about people being shot and killed. And then when I switched to international news, it was still about the USA, except now it was about the US politics and religion, highly dramatized with glorified conflicts. It's quite blatant that the news in the USA is highly planned, manipulated, and limited. News can change perceptions. Perceptions often become our realities. Much of what appears in the newspapers or on news channels here in the USA is nothing more than corporate, political, and religious propaganda. No wonder majority of the average US households don't have a view of what is happening outside of the USA. Here, when I watch the news, I feel misinformed. And I miss the news in Germany. I miss turning on the television, knowing that I will be receiving actual, real news. Let me know what your thoughts are on these three topics, if you agree or if you disagree. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.